Good evening. We're just going to wait for a few minutes while people come online. Uh, I am Louise Höpler and this is Christof. We hope you're all well. A few more coming, so hello Ellen. Um, and while we're waiting, perhaps it's a good time to share with you how lucky we are over here in Austria. So you may have read that we're coming out of lockdown earlier than many countries. And the exciting thing is restaurants are now gradually opening. Children are able to go back to school. And slowly the roads are filling up. So we are extremely fortunate that life is becoming a little bit more normal after 3 months of being at home. So we hope that you are all safe and well. It's been a lot of ups and downs for us all, I guess, during this time.
Yeah, and
So
I can see here some top fans.
we've got Stephanie and Charles and a few more people coming online.
Yeah, I like the diamond where it says top fan.
Shall we start then? So, okay, everybody. We are going to run through some of the wines that we have in the offering today. And I am going to talk a bit of an introduction for you all about where we are and who we are. And then Christoph obviously will talk about the wines as we go on and taste them with you. So thank you for very much for joining us. And thank you for looking after us for so long. We have had the honor of supplying Opimium members for well over 20 years now. The relationship started with Christoph's father, I think in the early 90s, with some of the founders of Opimium. And he is now 81 and still talks about some of the trips that he used to make with the Opimium team back in the early days. So they are fond memories for him. And we are cowardly doing this together to make the first Höpler Facebook Live show. So please be gentle and kind with us. This is meant to be fun. Ask lots and lots of questions. There's never a silly question. And between us, we will multitask, tasting, talking, and reading all those questions. So very kindly, the Opimium team have posted some maps of where our winery is located. So if you think of Austria as a frying pan in its shape, in the eastern part is where the wine is made, and Höpler is just 40 minutes southeast of Vienna on this huge lake called Lake Neusiedl. And all the vineyards are on some lovely hills, and those are beautifully shown in the catalogue on between pages, I think 26 and 29 in the offering, the cellar offering that you have in front of you probably. And these vineyards are all on hills which are southeast, east facing. And because of its relationship with the lake, that enables us to do whites, red and dessert wines. It's a really fun mix, and it's the only part of Austria that enables us to do this. So today we are going to start, we're going to taste the Grüner Veltiner, which is cellar offering 1887 on page 28. And then we will taste the Blaufränkisch. The Grüner Veltliner is, I'm sure, the grape that you all know already. It is the most famous grape from Austria that put us on the map. It's a grape that is very food friendly and very flexible with all sorts of different pairings and just fun to drink on its own as well. So Christoph will start talking to you about the wine. Grüner Veltliner is probably about 35% of Austrian production, I think. Is that right, Christoph?
Roughly a third, yes, of Austria's vineyards are planted with Grüner Veltliner. Here we go. So that is vintage 2019. As Louise mentioned, it's very fresh. It's fruity, it's crisp, extremely food friendly. Does really well with all kind of salads. It even works with asparagus. So that's a fantastic pairing as well. Even works with artichokes. And that's why it's also the darling of all the chefs. They love to work with Grüner Veltliner because they can't go wrong when you pair Grüner Veltliner with food. Especially everything that's green and fresh. So you can use Grüner Veltliner on its own as an aperitif, or just pair it with something fresh. The summer season is coming up, and then you get something very typical for the Grüner Veltliner, and that is spicy elements. So you get some white peppery elements, you get some lime, you get some pear, some apple, some tangerine, and vintage 19 was a warmer vintage. So this is also the reason why we do have almost 13% of alcohol. It's not heavy, not at all. It's very fresh. It's delightful. It's a lot of fun.
And it's a lovely light yellow color. I think, Christoph, can you see that to the camera? Is that the right to do it?
Yeah, hopefully.
It's got this lovely zizz to it.
Yeah, it's has some zesty elements, and it's just highly enjoyable. So it's already a bit late in Vienna right now. So we would like to sit on the terrace and enjoy this glass of wine. But even now, late in the evening,
it's just fresh on the palate, and it just makes you feel it's lively and fun. And you can't really go too wrong with this in terms of pairings, as Christoph said. So that is lot 1887 on page 28. Are there any questions on Grüner Veltliner? Some people always ask how you say it. We had these umlauts in Austrian, which make it hard to pronounce, but it just doesn't matter. GV, Grüner, Grüner Veltliner, it really doesn't matter. The point is to enjoy it. And Christoph will show you a picture of the bottle again. It's a 2019 vintage, a lovely warm harvest, which means you've got a little bit more fruit in this one, perhaps compared to other vintages. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's just great fun.
Yeah, and as Kath said, it sounds so delicious, and it is very delicious.
And this is actually, are we allowed to announce this yet? Can I say it?
We got some good ratings, but it's not out yet. But you will see shortly.
I think in the next couple of weeks. We're not allowed to announce it. We've got some good points on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So we'll move on to the Blaufränkisch.
Yeah. Let us check questions.
Sorry,
here.
do we do that? And you get the Blaufränkisch up?
Definitely.
No, no question.
With asparagus, that's right.
Can we pair it with Thai curry? So we are going to come on to another wine in a minute. So you can, I think our Pinot Blanc or our Pannonica would be even better with the Thai green curry. And that's because you've got the creaminess in a Thai green curry that could take a wine with a little bit more roundness. So it would be fine, but I think the Pinot Blanc or the Pannonica White, which we will talk about in a minute, would be even better.
Yes, because it's also a matter of acidity, and Grüner Veltliner is a little bit higher in acidity than the Pannonica White or the Pinot Blanc, and therefore it's just the better match.
And in terms of the Grüner Veltliner with the asparagus, it just stops them going earthy, those flavors. So that's why it works so well with those types of salads and fresh fruits.
Right.
So,
on to the next. Here we go. That's Blaufränkisch.
Can you see it can you get closer so they can see the actual... Yeah, there we go.
This is it.
So this is Blaufränkisch 2017, our classic Blaufränkisch.
So Blaufränkisch is a grape variety. It is very dear to my heart. It's a very elegant and delicate grape variety. and you get some beautiful aromatic components. You get mineral components. It's rather, for me, it's rather floral, but you also get some dark berry elements, and of course there's also some smoky hints.
The color?
10% of the Blaufränkisch fermented in oak. The rest is all stainless steel fermented. So you get the freshness of the stainless steel fermentation, but you also get some oomph from the fermentation in the barrels. And as I said, you get some spicy notes there as well. It has a long finish, and the elegance is also carried by hints of acidity, and that's one of the key elements also for cellaring wines like Blaufränkisch. The acidity level is always just a touch, little bit higher, and therefore cellaring this wine down for a few years might be quite beneficial as well. So basically also Blaufränkisch works very well with fattier meats because of the hints of acidity that we have in there. And it's a great food companion as well. The wine has some weight and texture to it, but it's not heavy at all. So it's kind of comparable probably to something like a Cabernet Franc, but there's less tannins. But in terms of hints of spiciness, there might be some similarities. So it's its own grape variety, Blaufränkisch, also known as Lemberger in Germany. But it also has the elegance of a Pinot Noir.
And let me take this microphone, sorry. And Blaufränkisch is the second most planted red varietal in Austria. The most planted would be at Zweigert, and then Blaufränkisch. And we think it's a very noble grape. Our particular region, the Leiterberg, is very famous for the Blaufränkisch grape, as ours has this slightly more mineral expression than some of the Blaufränkisches which are made in the south, which can be bigger bodied. As you can tell, I am British, and we love having Blaufränkisch with Christmas, with turkey. I've even had it with Indian food, with some spice, lots of pork belly. It's absolutely delicious with pork belly.
Thumbs up.
Even with like if you were to do a very slow cooked pork belly with Chinese 5-spice and soya sauce, absolutely delicious. And the fun thing with these wines is just give it a go. It might just work. We've had the most amazing pairings that people have given us. So somebody from the world of flavor has just said the Blaufränkisch impresses all his friends. Or their friends. Sorry, don't know whether it what.
My friends. Yes.
I think it's got a male face on it. And it says it's his favorite. So thank you very much. And the cellar number for the Blaufränkisch, just to clarify, we might have forgotten, is 1889. And that is on page 29. So the one under the big sky aerial photo of the lake. And because this is a slightly brighter wine, you can drink a little bit more of it. That's the fun part. Because these are not heavy, big body wines, you can afford another glass and you'll feel absolutely fine and very fresh.
And also for summer, you can chill the reds down just a tiny little bit, and that also does magic in summer. They are not that heavy, and therefore can be enjoyed sometimes in too much quantities. But
you'll wake up feeling great.
Exactly, that's the point.
So we are going to move on to 2 other bottles which are new to the catalogue this year. Can you pass me them? And these are a new label for you guys in Canada. And it's called Pannonica. We have, and the rosé as well. We have 2, it goes that way. Can you see that? There we go. So these are two blends. They've got this lovely label, this bright, fun label, and the color of the label represents the grapes that are in the blend. This Pannonica White is made of Grüner Veltliner, Pinot Blanc,
and Chardonnay.
And Chardonnay. Do you want to carry on?
Yeah. So basically the Pannonica label is a great introduction to Austrian wines. They always comprise of three grape varieties that are very typical for Austria. Our area was so in the Burgenland was originally planted by the Cistercian monks, and they came out of Burgundy. Hence the strong tie to Burgundian grape varieties. In the case of the Pannonica, it's the Pinot Blanc and the Chardonnay. And then, of course, there's Grüner Veltliner in there, our most widely planted grape variety. And the name Pannonica refers to the area southwest of the river Danube that was originally called Pannonia by the Romans. And so it's a little wordplay. So we play with Pannonica, and that's how we named that.
And it's meant to be a representative white wine from the region, as Christof said. So those three grapes, really, really approachable, fun, easy drinking wines.
All stainless steel fermented, and they come from our neighboring vineyards.
And so the white's obviously got the Grüner Veltliner in it. It's a little bit more body, a little bit softer, a bit richer perhaps in the Grüner Veltliner. We've heard people call it a patio, what do they call it? Oh, there's an expression. Porch pounder, patio pounder. Sorry, in the States. It's not a term we use very often here, so bear with us. And the rosé, which Christof has here, has the Blaufränkisch in it. And that's the wine we tasted earlier.
Right. But there's also St. Laurent in there and Pinot Noir. So St. Laurent is a very interesting grape variety. It's related to Pinot Noir, very delicate grape variety. Shares similarities to Pinot, especially when it comes to vineyard management. It's very tricky to grow this grape variety because of the very thin skin of St. Laurent. And so Pinot and St. Laurent just add some elegance to this rosé, and the Blaufränkisch adds the acidity as well as some spicy elements and adds the depth to this rosé. And also historically we have been very successful with the Pannonica rosé. Last year it was in the top 100 best buys of Wine Enthusiast magazine, and we just really enjoy that rosé quite a bit.
So these are all screw taps, all the four wines that we've talked about. We think that just makes life really easy and very practical. You know, you can just open it up, put it back in the fridge so you don't have to drink the whole bottle just to behave yourselves. This one goes quite quickly, so you might not put the lid back on. But they're just very practical, clean wines. You're never going to have a corkage problem because it's got a screw cap on. In terms of things to pair these with, the rosé and the white are extremely, you know, you can have them on their own. They will go beautifully with anything fresh in summer, anything barbecued that you will drink. The one part I probably wouldn't have rosé is when you put too much sweetness.
Yeah.
So we had, for example, we grilled peaches on the barbecue and put some honey and brown sugar and stuff, and all of that just didn't work. But apart from that, I think that's the only kind of thing that I would say steer clear of. Just give it a go and have a try. It's delicious. And importantly, we don't put Zweigelt in our rosé, which is very common for Austrian wines, because we think Blaufränkisch gives the wine much more elegance and freshness. And often the wine can get too warm in a glass, and that the acidity from the Blaufränkisch keeps it lively.
Yeah, so that's why I call it it's a typical Austrian rosé, but it's a non-Zweigelt rosé. Just because the Blaufränkisch just does for us a much better job in a rosé. And also, as Louise mentioned, so we love to have our wines closed with a screw cap. For me, as a winemaker, it's a quality seal, so that the consumer can rest assured that the wine that you have in this bottle is exactly the way it is meant to be. So we don't put corks in there where we do not exactly know how wine and the cork are going to interfere. And this is the way we have been doing it for quite a while now, and we like to continue doing it. So, and I think we like to play it safe when it comes to closures. We work not just 1 year, but many years in order to create fantastic vintages, and therefore we don't take any risks when it comes to closing those wines.
And in terms of the lot numbers, I think I forgot to say that the rosé is 1886 and the white is 1885. That's on page 27 is the Pannonica white, and on page 28 for the Pannonica rosé.
Yeah, here's a nice comment. So, we'll need to come and see you when travel is back in vogue. Yes, please do so, because we also have a wine experience that is currently being renovated. It's in our old farmhouse, and so we created 8 different theme rooms. It's all about the 5 senses. It's called Höpler's Weinräume. It was also rated top 10 wine travel destination worldwide.
For wine.
For wine. Well, surprise. And yeah, please come visit. We will also have some guest rooms. It's tiny and cozy. It's beautiful. I cannot recommend more than that.
It's good fun. And we've had people from Apimia in the past, and we've loved meeting you. And it's lovely. I think you get to see the pictures, but seeing it in the flesh is always more special. If you do like joining us, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. You have to spell our name, Höpler, with an E. So it's Hoep, because we have an umlaut on the O. And if we just put HOP, our German and Austrian friends couldn't find us. So I hope that makes sense. So Höpler Winery. We have lots of fun pictures and things that we share. Today we sent a first container to the USA since lockdown, so fingers crossed things get better. A question about restaurants yes, they have started to open. So as I mentioned at the beginning, restaurants opened here 2 weeks ago, and initially people were quite timid about going to visit them. And fortunately, more and more is happening. People are getting more relaxed about going out again. Children have gone back to school. The restaurants are filling up slowly but surely, and masks we won't have to wear masks, face masks, from the 15th of June. So in 10 days' time, they all back. But we are very lucky in Austria. We reacted very quickly. We were isolating at the beginning of March, and so fortunately we haven't got too many problems in compared to other countries.
Yeah.
Any other questions that we can answer? Sorry.
Yeah.
Have we got them all here? We've got some lovely comments about Pannonica with Vietnamese food. We should talk about that. Grüner Veltiner, people saying yes, wonderful with asparagus.
Yeah, we love asparagus too, especially asparagus. Green asparagus is fantastic. In Austria, we actually do have quite a lot of white asparagus, but I think we rather have the green one.
Have we got any more? We've got lots of lovely, kind messages from. I'm not going to read out all your names, but I hope you can. Thank you for the kind messages. Any more questions?
Questions.
We've either bored you to tears or we've been very.
A few words on the Riesling. Here we go.
Okay.
Riesling.
The Riesling is on lot number.
It's right here.
1888. So 1888 on page. Can we talk about it?
We can do it together. Page 2028. Yeah, it's a beautiful stainless steel fermented classic Riesling. Hints of apricot. Delicious. It's a younger vineyard in fact. That looks stunning, overlooking the lake Noisy-le-Sée. And it's a combination. Well, the soil is a combination of it's mainly slate, and there is some chalk in between. It's very mineral driven.
A bit citrusy, isn't it?
Yeah, citrusy elements there as well.
I can't think how to compare. I think you had a Facebook live session with Step, and you talked about Riesling. So it's a dry Riesling. I can't compare the two. I suspect it's a bit more citrusy, and it's young. It's a young vineyard.
Yes, and the key is it's a very dry Riesling.
And then there's one other wine we didn't talk about called St. Laurent, which Christoph talked about, the grape. I think that's also in the cellar offering. And that's a really fun discovery grape to try. If you like Pinot Noir, give it a go. It's great fun. So I think we're still alive. We've survived this experience. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're still a bit nervous, as you can tell. I think if there are no more questions, we will say thank you for your time.
Yeah, and we'll have a glass of Blaufränkisch.
And then we'll go to bed because it's 11:30 at night for us here, which is hence why we've got all this lighting.
And we are farmers, so we get up very early. So it's 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So cheers to you. Thank you for joining in.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a great evening. Take care.
Have a good night.